sure his father does. Good. I've heard statements where people said that Austin's dad is not a good parent, not making him stay in college. He's grown and he can make his own decisions. At that age, a lot of young men are entering the military, giving their lives up for our blessed country. And in reference to that, a lot going without the support of their parents at first. But you can't tell me any good parent would not support their kid after they make their decision, whether you agree with it or not. Whether you agree with it or not, my son is going into the reserves. I don't agree with it, but he's got my support 100%. He's going into the reserves and will be a full-time college student. But I support him 100%, and I'm sure that's what Doc Rivers is doing. He might not agree with his son's decision, but he's going to be like any good parent and support him 100%, because it's not a crime to go with what you see as a person as your best interest, whether it's financial, whether it's goal driven, but you're going to give your child that support that they need. That's the last thing they need to do, is go and, look behind them and see that their parents are not supporting their decisions, which once again is not a crime. I'll be back right after this brief message. So sit back and keep enjoying your morning coffee with Babe Tom Herman. If you're looking for affordable health and insurance coverage, well then give Jonica Rowland of the Rowland Group a call. She's here to serve families, individuals, and small businesses. Contact her at 919-719-7211 or at 919-539-2492. Once again, contact Jonica Rowland of the Rowland Group. Once again, I hope and trust that you're enjoying your morning cup of coffee with Babe Tom Herman on this Saturday morning as I continue to talk about success or failure, the tenures of Austin Rivers at Duke and Harrison Barnes at UNC. Both declared for the NBA draft. Barnes being a sophomore, of course, and Austin Rivers being the one and done freshman. Now here's Austin's first year at Duke. They finished 27-7, number 14 in most final top 25 2012 men's college basketball polls. 27-7, I wouldn't say, with Duke standards, maybe that's low. Anytime it's rare to see a 7 or 8 game losing season. But look at his stats. 15.5 points a game. Shot decent percentage from three-point range, hovering around 36%. Field goal percentage of 43%. Free throw percentage, not all that great, 65%. Rebounds per game, looking at about 3. Assists, 2.1, nothing that stands out. Turnovers, 2.3, that stands out. That's not a great stat. But looking at his size at 6'4", 200 pounds, he's going to be a 2-guard in the NBA. He played a lot of small forward this season. At 6'4", this day and time, that's not very tall at small forward. And he came out and played 2-guard a lot. So, he was very versatile at those positions, but, it was hard to determine where he should fit in at. Success or failure, we have Denise Lowry stating, I think he was, you have to consider him a failure, because I think he only can be remembered by that one shot. And if Doc Rivers wasn't his dad, would he got hype from the news media like he did? So that's a great question. Once again, that's a statement in reference to now the former Duke player Austin Rivers. Now let's go to Harrison Barnes, 6'8" forward from Ames, Iowa. And I forgot to mention that Rivers is from Winter Park, Florida. So please forgive me, Duke fans, for that. Rivers is from Winter Park, Florida. Harrison Barnes came with a lot of hype, more hype than I've seen from most players in many years. 6'8", high school teammate of Creighton's All-American forward Doug McDermott. I've never heard of Doug McDermott, to be honest with you, until this season. Harrison stats, 2010-11, averaged 15.7 points a game. This season, 2011-12, he averaged 17.1. Field goal percentages for both years hovered between 42 and 44%. 3-point field goal percentage around 34 to 35 consistently. free throws between 72 and 75% during his whole college career. Nothing else stands out. Rebound of 5.8, his highest, which was last season. This past season, 5.2. No steals, statistically, not many steals. Turnovers about 1.9 per game through his whole career. Not bad. Team finished 32-6 this year. Final ranking for the 2012 season for his team. The final polls finished number 6. So not bad. Now I think it's great stats, but not great with the hype that came with him. With the hype, you would have thought that maybe 25, 26 points a game, somewhere in that area. I'm just talking about from the hype. A lot of hype is what it is hype. Now, see what the Carolina fans have to say about the question, success or failure. Now, Beverly Vereen, she just comes out and said it was a failure. Barnes is not ready for the NBA. Now, also another comment coming from LaShayla Simpson. I think it could only have been a success for his development as a player if he would have stayed. She understands the money. She says, I understand the money factor plays a big role in collegiate players opting to enter the draft. However, in the end, I don't know how beneficial it is to them or the fans, both college and NBA fans, for them to pull out early. We all suffer having to watch mediocre NBA ball games because players are still developing. By staying in college, they're able to develop and hopefully mature to be able to handle the stresses that come on the next level. How to manage their money, simple life skills that you learn in college, social skills, time management, heck, even washing clothes. And I'm glad she made that statement because a lot of us overlook the fact, and on the most part, those that are okay with the one and done deal, or not just the one and done deal, but any player going to the NBA early on the classmen. I think what she said, LaShayla, is very important to remember, that they are able to develop life learning skills, such as social skills, time management. I mean, because I'm a 19-year-old kid going to play in a league that has some players in their middle to late 30s. A 19-year-old kid and a 30-something-year-old person have nothing much in common. That's an older brother or older cousin. You're not going to go hang in the same places. So that's very great point that she made in regards to that, and also the maturing or maturation process that needs to take place. And this can be learned in college, to mature, to get along with people, to learn life skills, even to wash clothes. Mama's not going to be there to wash your clothes. So you learn those life lessons, those skills. Now, last week I brought up the point that a lot of people do want to see at least college players stay in college for at least 2 years. And we discussed Billy Hunter and John Calipari's they had a discussion on this back in February of March of this year, and what could be done. One of the few things is giving college players stipends atop their scholarships larger than $2,000. The NCAA is now proposing, with Mark Emmert president. That's been on the back burner because at least 120 colleges have rejected that. Covering the injury insurance costs, something that many schools, but not all, already do. And also allowing players to take out loans against their future earnings, which has been discussed but isn't currently permitted under NCAA guidelines. Also, a very interesting article just came out in reference to Mark Cuban, the owner of the Dallas Mavericks. The article is not Mark Cuban not a fan of the one and done, or Mark Cuban not fan of one and done, by Tim McMahon of ESPNDallas.com. He quotes Mark Cuban as, I just think there's a lot more kids that get ruined coming out early or going to school trying to be developed to come out early than actually make it. Cuban said, for every Kobe Bryant or Kevin Garnett, Carmelo Anthony or LeBron James, there's 100 Lenny Cooks. And as all of you all remember, Lenny Cook was the New York high school star who wasn't selected in the 2000 to enter the draft right after high school, and he was not selected in 2002. He never played a minute in the NBA. I think most of us remember him, and that's the example he used And he also had me and Cuban have the same views on that D-League. Once again, last week I stated, and if you want to listen to the program, last week's program, go to YouTube, Babe Tom Herman channel. In the March 31st broadcast, I go into what I feel the D-League should be used for, the NBA D-League. There's 30 NBA teams currently in the NBA, only 16 NBA D-League teams, a league that calls itself the minor leagues for the NBA. It's a bunch of crap. Basically, in a nutshell, that like I said, me and myself and Mark Cuban has the same views on that. Now, whether you believe in the one and done, and whether you don't believe it, it's still up to that person, that particular person. The rule is in place. They just have to do 1 year of college. And basically, if they make that decision after they finish their first year or the second year, in the case of Harrison Barnes, do I think personally it's a failure for them to have come out of college early? No. I think it's a choice that a person has, or a choice that a person puts themselves in a position to have. At that age, I did not have those choices. They have a choice whether to go to college. It's a win-win situation. Do 3 to 4 years of college, complete your degree, and then go to the NBA or go early. In both of these players' cases, they're not going to get any better. They can mature as leaders on the court, mature in life from their college experience. But this is my opinion only. As players, they're not going to improve any more than they are currently, especially on defense. Both players have defensive liabilities. Austin, there won't be any question what position he plays in the NBA. He will be a 2 guard. Harrison Barnes, he will be a small forward. The only knock I had on both one player, Harrison Barnes, is that he doesn't attack the rim enough for his size. He has a nice, consistent jumper. Not a great, but it's consistent. Austin Rivers, the same, has a consistent jumper, but he can drive to the basket. He's going to need to hit a higher percentage of free throws to be successful on the next level, or his stats are not going to shine, especially from a scoring perspective. And that's just strictly my opinion. Well, unfortunately, my time is up, and I hope that you certainly enjoyed your early morning coffee with Babe Tom Herman. Please be sure to tune in next week on this fine radio station at 7:30 a.m. as I go into Major and Minor League Baseball. I will also continue to go into my views on the state of college athletics. Also, please remember to follow me on Twitter at Babe Tom Herman. Also, listen to past broadcasts on my YouTube channel, Babe Tom Herman. So please sit back, continue to relax, and enjoy your morning coffee. Have a great day.